2, 1.
Welcome to another episode of Sports Opinions with Regular Guys. I'm Frank. This is Mike. And we just concluded, 99% of the NFL games for the week. There's still the Monday night games. We're doing an early show this week, Sunday night. The Sunday night game just ended not too long ago. That was a blowout. But we're going to talk about that as well as all the action around the NFL today, particularly the Bears and what they did against the New York Giants, and several other games that happened today. So with that being said, let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to start with the Chicago Bears. Well, the offense looked a little bit better. They just still cannot score. Justin Fields was throwing a little bit more. I told you they're going to have him throw the ball more, so we had more passing attempts today.
Yeah.
They tried to rush the ball, but I mean, Montgomery does make a difference. He wasn't there today, so you had Khalil Herbert, this other guy. Oh, God, what was his name? The other guy. He just wasn't doing it.
Unimportant, but
yeah, but
we did miss David Montgomery today.
Yes, they did.
That's for sure. Herbert looked good last week. But today, I don't know what happened, but he still got like 70-something yards.
They played for the run because, they're not believing in Justin Fields going to throw the ball. But either way it goes, they played the right hand because the Bears couldn't score a touchdown again, at least in a passing touchdown. They haven't had a passing touchdown since, week 1, week 2?
Yeah.
But that's just how it is. The Bears only mustered up 4 field goal attempts. Those could have been easy touchdowns.
Yes, they could have.
I mean, what is that? 3 field goals, like five field goals.
A lot of
turn those field goals into touchdowns.
Yeah.
They had been 35-20. They could have won.
Yep.
But again, this is a rebuilding team.
Not to me.
And it's showing. The talent they have on the team is 1-year talent. They're gonna have a lot of money in the offseason and a lot of the draft picks. So, I mean, this is a toss-up either way. It was a toss-up going in. Everyone knew this. It was a toss-up. They were not the clear-cut favorites to win this game anyway, in Vegas' eyes.
And why not? Because Daniel Jones is so devastating.
No, it's not Daniel Jones. It's
Saquon Barkley.
Well, because
the big difference maker on the team, and if they would have just shut him down, this would have been a little different game.
These teams are about the same level, and
they are.
And,
they are the same
and
level.
you have to give the edge to New York because they're at home, which is usually the case. The home team. That's why they were odds on the win, and they won it. But Fields threw for 174 yards, no touchdowns. Now, they did give him 22 attempts, which he completed half of them. So he's completing half. It's not his percentage of his completions isn't that bad. He's just not throwing it enough. And 174, he's improved the last few weeks. He's been getting little. I know to you it doesn't seem like it, but he has improved little by little by little in yardage every week. It's just not turning into points. And that's the thing, it's not turning into touchdowns.
And that's what matters, right?
And then that again,
because we don't get points.
We don't have receivers.
We're not in a position to win.
We don't have wide receivers who can get separation. Because you notice when you throw the ball, what happens? They go down immediately.
Yep.
There's no yak. There's not really chance to really get points.
Yeah.
And when they get down in the red zone, they can't do anything with it. 4 field goals. Is it 4 field goals they got?
Yeah.
4? That's all they can get. But this is the way the season is going to be this season. What else can I say? I don't know what you expect out of this team this season. I really don't know what you expect out of a team that is a rebuilding team.
If they're playing,
they don't have talent that's all-star talent. They just don't.
If they're playing a shitty team,
they don't
like the New York Giants.
They can't stop the run.
Then
defensively, they can't stop the run. Offensively, they can't score.
They have shown that.
And offensively, they cannot score. They do not have the talent, offensive talent to score. They don't have it. But this tells you where they got to go in free agency and drafting. They have to draft. They definitely got to get a better defensive line.
Yeah.
But they have got to get playmakers here or draft playmakers. Because you can have the best defense in the world, but 12 points is not going to cut it.
It's not.
No, field goals are not going to cut it. I don't give a damn who you have behind the quarterback. If there's no one to throw it to, and you don't have a good offensive line, nothing's going to amount to the same shit.
No.
So They have got to get receivers in this place. They have got to straighten up the offensive line. They have got to get the tight ends in more. They've got to get some talent around Justin Fields. So this is just a continuing thing that's going to happen. And again, I'm not going away from my prediction. I do got the Bears winning 3 to 4 games this season. Period.
No.
They don't have against the Giants, like you said, they only can get 12 points.
No.
They struggled against the Texans last week. So, I mean,
they beat the Texans.
If you cannot.
At the end of the day, they beat the Texans. At the end of the day, struggling or not, they still beat the Texans. And the Texans are hungry for a win. They lost today again. We'll get into that later. But
Donnell Mooney finally had himself a somewhat of a breakout game.
The man caught 94 for 94 yards out of 4 receptions.
Yes.
That's he had a 56-yarder that he laid out for. I don't know if you saw it. He laid out
I saw it.
And caught it.
Yes.
I mean, that was a great catch.
We need these to be touchdowns.
But
that's the thing.
But why not, try that more?
Because
why not
they're
try
doubling.
that some more?
They're doubling him.
And
they're doubling Mooney because they know that's their best receiver on the team.
And 2, where's the protection for Justin Fields? I know I'm not the biggest fan of Fields, or at least of his skills, but give him a little bit of time.
Doesn't exist.
Give him a little bit of time to actually get that ball off, to make a decision and commit to it and let that ball off. But no, it's like this man has like 2 seconds before someone's in his face. Like, why? Why is that? Like, that's something we should be concentrating on, period.
Well, this has been an ongoing issue for how many years? The offensive line is bad.
It is bad.
And so, again, you could put Tom Brady, you could put Aaron Rodgers, you could put Pat Mahomes, you could put Josh Allen, you could put them all. You could put Jackson, you could put all of them behind that Bears offensive line. They're not going to get nothing. They can't protect. They can't hold. The good thing is we have talented running backs, is why we're getting 100 yards a game, because the short hell is not the line.
Yeah.
They seem like the line seems like they can protect for the running back, is that the running back score 100, but they can't protect the quarterback.
I mean, they should switch them around and have
and
have the line that protects the running back out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. This just looks crazy.
And they don't have talented receivers behind them. They really don't have talent. They don't have
2
talented
seconds all
receivers.
this guy has to let that ball off, and we need to improve on that.
He was sacked 6 times?
Yes,
oh my God.
man.
It didn't seem like he was sacked 6 times today.
He's taking a beating. I'll give him that, because he is taking a beat. He took a hard one today.
What do you expect?
Again.
I mean, he racked up over 200 yards overall, because he got, 174 passing and like 50-something rushing?
Yeah.
52 rushing?
52 rushing.
But this is an ongoing experiment, what should we say? I won't even say experiment, this is a trial run to see what he can do. There's got to be a lot of experience under his belt. This losing and this way, this is going to help him in the long run. We just got to run this season through, get it over with, get a top pick, spend some good money on talent. Not on overrated crap.
Well,
and not on the same players you have on the roster. You need to get new offensive players.
I mean, we had an opportunity in the end.
Or make trades for them.
And I don't know if you remember Verdell Jones. I think he's a rookie. He fumbled the kick, and that basically erased all the Bears' chances of coming back.
But also, Justin Fields had threw that pass, and it wasn't even a pass. He fumbled the ball.
In my opinion, his arm was going forward.
No, it wasn't. I saw it wasn't.
Really?
It wasn't.
Because it looked like his arm was going like this.
No. When he got before he was able to do the forward motion, his arm was tipped and the ball went up. It went up. It didn't go forward. It went up.
It went forward.
No. It went. The ball went up. It went up. That was a fumble, and and New York recovered it. But I mean, it is what it is. 12-20. Saquon Barkley, a little bit of a revenge game from a couple of years ago when he tore his ACL.
Well, it's a revenge year for him because he's been doing this every game.
We'll see, but let's be honest. New York, they're not. They're 3-1, but that's a week 3-1. They're gonna probably lose. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose like 6 or 7 in a row.
Well,
I don't
they've
see
been
them.
surprising everybody so
Well,
far this
who do
year.
they play next week? You know who they play next week in London? They play in London.
Who do they
They
play?
play the Packers.
Oh, okay. So
Who's
that's gonna
winning
be
that game?
Packers win that game. I mean,
Probably.
Saquon's gonna get his again. I can almost guarantee you he's gonna get 100 yards again. But
Possibly
Packers
because
will win that game.
Packers their running defense is not good. I don't care where their defense ranks. They give up a lot of yards running.
They do.
So they'll probably get over 100 yards, but I probably will agree with you. I probably Green Bay will win that game. But back to the Bears. So they're now 2-2.
I'm not gonna.
They're going to be playing the Vikings next week at home, but it's not going to matter. They can't score. And the Bears give up the running game. It's a bad running game. They can pass okay. They can defend okay against the pass. So they might not give up the points in the pass, but they're going to give it up in the running game because, shit, they can't stop an ant.
I don't know, man.
Running, they can't stop
I
anybody.
don't know.
But there's a running game. They're gonna.
I'm still continuing this as a Bears fan podcast. I'm not gonna be.
I'm a Bears fan too, but I gotta be realistic.
I'm not gonna sit and down the Bears all day on everything that they're doing.
They can't score a touchdown today.
They're 2-2.
But they scored no touchdowns today.
Well, as bad as the line is, we need a quarterback that can make some things happen with his legs too. Because I mean, okay. You know what's happening. You know someone's going to be in your face in 2 seconds. Why are you still standing there? There are other NFL quarterbacks that have caught on, and you know what? They start pumping them legs in one direction, spin the other way.
That's what he was doing. He was scrambling. He was like a lot of scrambling yards.
I could tell because
he ran for 52 yards, but you saw the runs.
He was spending a lot of time on his back.
Well, that freaking line is so bad. You can't do anything.
So let's make something happen.
Well. We have to talk about the Bears because this is a Chicago show, but I'm just saying they're bad. And I'm not going to get too upset about it because this is a throwaway year, and I'll continue to say it.
Okay. Well,
now, they'll surprise me. They may surprise with maybe a couple of more wins, maybe upset wins. I mean, the games are close and not being blown out. But it seems like they're being blown because you notice if they're down by 3 or down by 1, it's like, damn, they ain't really score.
They're always in the games, and they're always in a position to actually win the game. That's what matters.
It's amazing. You're right.
That's what matters.
It's amazing with the type of team that they got. Well, that goes to coaching, I think. That has to go with some of the coaching.
Yes.
They don't have the talent to win games, a lot of talent to win the games, but they're staying in the games. And that has a lot to do with the coaching. And that's what I'm saying.
And they're hungry.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. When we get a new team next year, when we get some free agents in here, when we draft some players in here, and we'll start competing, and start winning some of these close games. But they are what the Bears really thought they were.
Not me. They're 2-2. You thought they were going to be 0-4.
No, I had them beat the Texans.
So okay, so
and maybe the Giants, I might have had them winning.
But
they're probably where they would be 2-2. I think I said I did say they'd start 2-2, and then they're gonna go down from there.
Okay, so we got the Vikings next week, and the week after that we got the Washington Commanders.
That's on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, and then we have the
Patriots. Hold on. Before you get there, the Commanders are not a good team, but they have a better offense than the Bears do.
Okay, we'll see.
And the Bears don't have an offense.
We will see. We
will. The Patriots, who knows? They're at the Patriots. It's good. They got some time to go. We're only
4 games in, man.
4 games in. Now, what I want to get into, we're gonna get into some games here, but I wanted to start with the NFC North division because we're a quarter into the season.
Right.
Okay, we're 4 games in now. 4 games completed, and the whole division played today. So we're 4 games in, and let's move on to a couple of games here in the division. So the Lions, they played the Seahawks. Now, I had the Seahawks. I believe I had the Seahawks winning that game.
That was a crazy game.
And that was a high-scoring game.
Yeah, it was.
And the Seahawks actually had them blown out. And then the Lions, I didn't see any of the game, but the Lions came back, it looks like.
Jared Goff threw for 4 touchdowns that game, and he still lost.
That reminds me of Matthew Stafford when he was on
Yeah, that just tells you that team.
Putting up 360
it doesn't matter
yards,
what
4
happens,
touchdowns,
man.
still
That team
lose.
is just.
How did the Seahawks score 48 points? How? What was Geno Smith doing today? He must have been on fire.
Yeah, he was, as a matter of fact.
I mean, when was the last time? Shoot, they weren't even scoring 48 points when Russell Wilson was there. You know, so they came and they beat the Lions. So the Lions are 1-3. They're dead last in the division. So they're going to battle for 4th place with the Bears, most likely. Geno threw for 320 yards and 2 touchdowns. I thought he had a bigger game. How did they get the 48 points? Rushing the game? Rushing the ball?
Yeah, Rashad Penny rushed for 151 yards, and he got 2 touchdowns himself. I mean, this was a game. DK, he got 149 yards receiving.
How do they have him in he's in Detroit, right?
Who, DK?
No, he's in
Seattle. That's Seattle still. He got carted off the field, and everybody thought he was injured.
When he came back?
He came back a few plays later. The only reason he had to is because
the rules are that you have to miss it. You have to, if you're hurt, you got to sit out the first.
He had to go poop, so he got carted off the field so he can go use the bathroom. He said if he ran off, he would have shit his pants. So he got carted off so he could sit on it. Anyway.
Well, this was obviously a high scoring game.
It was.
And Detroit found a way to lose it again, of course.
Yep.
So they're 1-2, they're last in the division. And then we have Minnesota that played the Saints in London this morning. And it was the Jameis was it Winston against Cousins, right?
Winston didn't play.
Before the Saints.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Winston didn't play.
It would have been the first game. No, second game actually. This game was 25-28.
It was Andy
Dalton. Oh, yes, that's right, Dalton. He threw for 236 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Cousins threw for 273 yards, a touchdown and an interception. So it came down to the running games, but Minnesota snuck one out. So Minnesota, they're an improved team. I mentioned this. I didn't know they're like the second worst team I hate. Mm-hmm. I really hate Minnesota. Not as much as I hate Green Bay, but I hate Minnesota.
Is that the way that ended?
Yep. I didn't see the play, but that's how the game ended. Just went right in.
Yep, double doink. No, he missed it.
No.
It could have went.
It was a 61-yarder. Now, if that was in the dome, maybe they would have won it. I mean, if it was
bounces, and it could have went in.
Hit that goalpost.
But
they lost. So the Vikings won. So the Vikings are in first place at 3-1, or stay in first place. Yep. And then Green Bay eked out a win against New England because New England was playing Green Bay tough. And I'm sure you saw Aaron Rodgers throw that pick 6. Now, was you playing on Aaron Rodgers or you playing on the receiver?
That was on Aaron Rodgers.
They turned the ball over a couple of times. I told you he's not gonna have no MVP season.
Well, of course not. Look, he has a young core receiver around.
They still won the game, but I want to take a look at the state of the NFC North now. So here's what I think is happening. I think Minnesota is a better team than Green Bay right now. I do. They already beat them handily, actually, and I believe that Minnesota's going to win the division. And they'll beat Green Bay.
What game number was that Minnesota beat Green Bay?
Game 1, it doesn't matter.
Game number 1. The game number 1 of the year. I guarantee you if they play them again,
the
Green Bay Packers are going to wash.
Well, the next game's in Green Bay.
The Minnesota Vikings.
The next game is in Green Bay.
They're going to wash them.
But I believe that Minnesota is going to win that division.
Okay.
And Green Bay, if they play them in the playoffs, Minnesota will beat them. Green Bay is not that strong. They don't look that strong this season. They just don't. Yeah, they have their 3-1. They're not even in first place in the division.
Yeah, because they lost the first game to Minnesota. That's
Minnesota only lost one game too. And Minnesota was a team that beat them.
That's the only reason why. So it's okay.
Aaron
So you're a
Rodgers.
Kirk Cousins fan now?
No, I don't like any of these. I don't like Green Bay. I
Really?
don't like Minnesota. I'm just from the naked eye.
It kind of sounds like you're a
Minnesota. Well, against Green Bay, against Green Bay, yes.
Sounds like you're on the bandwagon.
Well, against
right
Green Bay, yes, I am a Kirk Cousins
Oh,
fan.
wow.
It's the only time I'll cheer for him and
Wow.
that team. I cheer for them twice a year. That's against Green Bay. Okay?
Okay.
I told you this many years ago. I told you this.
Okay.
Green Bay is not going to win the division. They'll make the playoffs as a wild card, and they'll be bounced in the first round.
Minnesota improved a lot this year because of Justin Jefferson. This kid, again today, snapped off and got himself 147 yards on 10 receptions.
Well, here's the thing.
I mean,
no, you better start giving some credit to Kirk
he's a
Cousins
baller.
because he didn't have he lost Diggs a couple of years ago, and you didn't think he was going to recover from that.
Well, he found himself with Justin Jefferson, and he has Adam Thielen. You're forgetting about these guys that he has, to deliver
The money making, play making receiver.
Yep.
Diggs is gone, so Jefferson replaced him.
Yep. But I mean, that was all good.
So, with that being said, Green Bay plays the Giants next week, and the Bears play the Vikings next week.
Okay.
So, I got both teams winning probably their games. The Bears just can't score against anybody, and they're playing Minnesota, which is a much talented team. We know this offensively and defensively. Yes, I saw that. I saw most of the game.
You saw that?
Yes. We're talking about, he's looking at that, but.
That was crazy.
Yeah, but back to the division.
Uh-huh.
So, in the NFC North division, I have Minnesota winning that division. It'll be tight, but I believe they're going to pull away. They'll beat Green Bay. They'll get a better record. They're going to win the division and get in the playoffs. Green Bay is going to get in as a wild card. They don't look the same either. They don't look the same.
They don't.
Minnesota looks like a stronger team, a better team right now than Green Bay does. Even though Green Bay won today, they look like a better team. Minnesota, the Vikings look like a better team. But someone has to win this division. So that's what I think. And so I think they'll both have the same records next week, 4-1, coming out of the games next Sunday. And they'll move on from there.
All right.
With that being said, next, who else did we do today? There's one game I want to get into. Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Mitchell Trubisky was benched.
Yep.
I didn't even see the game, and they said that coach's decision.
We talked about this last week. We said this last week. We said if the Jets come out and they beat Pittsburgh, it's over for Trubisky. And it showed today. It showed today. I mean, I'm a Trubisky guy, and I was rooting for him, but man, you're just looking bad. You're missing your receivers. Receivers are waving, waving, and you're totally missing them. Not even throwing in their direction. That's a problem. That's a problem. And Zach Wilson has been out hurt. Just comes back out today, and throws for a 250 and a touchdown. I mean, you let him come out and do this, and you can't score. That's a problem. So yeah, he got benched, and we probably won't be seeing him, for a while.
But look at his replacement. It was Pickett. He threw for 3 interceptions.
Yep.
120 yards. I mean.
Yep. And that's why Trubisky had won the starting position because Tomlin knew what was going on with this guy.
They have a bad quarterback position. They're gonna have to draft one, which is why you're hoping that the Bears have a crappy seasons because they don't want. If there's any good quarterbacks coming out this season or this offseason, maybe the Bears may have to pick one if they don't trust Justin Fields. But Pittsburgh is in trouble. They are in trouble. They don't have it this season. I don't think, like I said, I don't think Tomlin's going to get fired, but there's just going to be a rebuilding team.
Whoa.
They didn't prepare. And here's the thing. This is the problem with these teams. They don't prepare for the future. You don't have a future quarterback. You knew Ben was going to retire at some point. Why didn't you get prepared for him? What's Tampa going to do? Are they preparing for the future when Tom Brady leaves next season?
No.
What are they going to do about that? They don't think about that. They're about playing now, but Tom Brady ain't going to play next year.
I think they figure they're going to toss some money around there to get someone else that's going to, come on over there. They got a squad. They just need a quarterback. That's what they always needed.
Draft one.
Yeah.
And get rid of the old, bring in a new.
No.
I mean,
so you're talking about Pickett throwing for 120 yards and 3 interceptions. He threw for 13 passes. Trubisky also threw for 13 passes, but mustered 84 yards passing and an interception.
well, collectively they had 4 interceptions.
And Trubisky got sacked 3 times.
200.
I mean, he deserves to sit. This is a
It's like the same old Mitch to me when he left here.
Yeah, unfortunately, he had his second chance and looks like he blew it.
Well,
looks like he blew it.
Hey, it is what it is, right? So,
but the Steelers, I mean, looks like to me, it looks like it's gonna be a rebuilding season for them because I can't see Trubisky coming back in. I think they're gonna let Pickett stay in and let him get some reps in the real NFL and not just in practice, and see how it goes from there. Unless he gets hurt, then we'll see Trubisky back in again because we won't have another choice.
Well, moving on. The Bengals beat the Dolphins today, 27-15. Well, obviously, Tuvaluga, he ain't playing, so the Bengals whooped them. They were going to whoop them anyway, I thought. But,
well, that was on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, we all saw him get his.
There's a lot of controversy going on.
Yeah, I want to talk about that really quick because I know you don't care too much about Miami and stuff like that.
No, that's not it. I just didn't see the.
We got to talk about Tua. Just 4 days before, this guy got rocked, fell down. When he got up, he stumbled, almost falling down. Like his teammates had to help him and keep him standing up, right? And then they said, "Oh, it was a back problem." Listen, no one's stupid here. If you have a back problem, you're gonna reach for your back. And I haven't seen someone actually hurt their back and get up and act like they're dizzy and like they're about to fall down. That was a concussion that happened.
And let him play.
And they let him come back and play. Oh, he's showing leadership. Listen. When you see someone stumbling like that, you take him off the field. If he can pop right back up and let's go, I get it. You let him stay in. But man, this man is stumbling and he can barely stand up on his own and you let him keep playing, that's a problem. 4 days later, you're playing another team. You're playing the Bengals. The Bengals came in hungry. Joe Burrow wants his win. Yep. The whole team wants to win. Yep. And man, when they got to Tua, he basically got whipped from the waist, falling on his head. You saw his head hit the ground. Boom. It was over for him. They got back to being lazy with these players when they get hurt. They took him to the tent. They took him there to go check him out. They took him out. They checked him out in the back. Why do you think that they let him keep playing then?
They knew he was hurt. They just want to bring him.
But they have team doctors. How did that happen?
The team doctors cleared him.
Does he get fired?
They're investigating.
Does he get fired for that?
The team doctor could. They could replace him.
Because I think that's like putting someone.
Because you see the guy stumbling. Why are you letting him in the game? You take him to that ton. He ain't coming back in the game. He might miss a couple of games.
Yeah. Well, I think now because he got hit while his brain was already was under some sort of trauma.
He was still injured.
So now you injured him even more. I don't think we're gonna see Tua for a little bit after that scary injury because, I mean, he's really hurt and that's a shame because something magical was happening in Miami this year.
Well, just let him time to heal up and bring him back. I mean, they're 3-1, so they're still contending. Cincinnati is slow to recover, but they're slowly recovering. They're back at 500 again, 2 of 2.
Yeah.
You had
Tyreek Hill still caught 160 yards. I mean, the cheetah is still running wild out there. Bridgewater threw for 193 yards.
Yeah,
but they got that interception.
Yeah, but I mean, on the Cincinnati side, you had Joe Burrow throw for 287 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he had a pretty efficient game.
Yeah.
It's 20 of 31. But I mean, that's expected. Miami's not ready for a team like Cincinnati. And I mean, it is what it is. I predicted this game. Cincinnati was going to win, especially in Cincinnati. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is, and they'll be fine. Dolphins, if Tua doesn't play, they're toast. But Cincinnati's going to come back and win some games here. Now, I don't think they're not going back to the Super Bowl, but they'll contend to get into the playoffs.
Well, everybody was writing them off, and now they're 2-2.
Well, I didn't write them off. They're not winning the Super Bowl. They're not going to the Super Bowl.
You don't think so?
No, I don't.
Because Joe Burrow looks a little hungry. That team looks hungry.
I understand that, but that
And
ship has sailed.
We have a long season to go to.
We do, and I still don't think they're not gonna. Don't make the playoffs, but they're not gonna win in the playoffs. I think they're gonna run into Buffalo, or they're gonna run into Kansas City, and they're gonna be gone.
All right, let's move on to the next game.
We already talked about the Vikings and the Saints. Now here's an upset, Mike. This is an upset. How the hell did the Browns lose to the Falcons?
So I was.
How did that happen?
I was watching that game too, and it's crazy to me because Nick Chubb was going crazy all over the place.
Rushing 18 yards, a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean they had a squad. They had a squad out today, and somehow they had the lead, and the Falcons just came on back. I mean, Mariota.
He didn't really have a good game. Mariota only threw for 139 and a pick.
He managed the game. They came on back, and they beat him.
Well,
I mean, you see this interception here that Brissett had thrown.
Yeah.
That was like one of the main things.
Let's understand the Browns when Winston got suspended. Everyone wrote them off, and the way I kind of still do.
It's about Watson.
Yeah, Watson. When he was gone, everyone probably figured that Cleveland is going to tank, which they haven't. They're still playing very hard.
Yeah.
But I do think at the end of the day, they're not going to make the playoffs.
Have you watched their backup play? Their backup quarterback is not bad at all, man.
I know, but I just don't think this team is talented enough to make a lot of noise in the NFC. Particularly NFC North, but in the NFC period. AFC,
I think if Brissett is here in Chicago, we do a whole lot better than Fields.
Shoot, most of these teams are doing a lot better than Fields. Fields doesn't have anybody. But Cleveland would be a better team when Watson's there. But again, depends on where they are after his 11-game suspension. We're already 4 games in.
Yeah.
So.
Well, right now they're 2-2.
Yeah. So we'll see.
So they're at 500, so it's not too bad. But let's not take anything away from Atlanta because they're 2-2 also.
Oh, come on.
Hey, they're 2-2 also. So we can't.
No disrespect to the Falcons, but honestly, we play them, I believe, don't we?
We do play them. We're gonna get to see Marcus Mariota in person. Next.
Yep, let's go to next. You're right. So next, some of these I didn't see. Now I didn't see any of the Cowboys and Commanders game, but the Cowboys came out and won by 15 points.
Yep.
Rush, they want to sweat him now, huh?
Hey, there's gonna be a
Is Dak in trouble?
Yes, he is.
There's
gonna be a controversy.
Why is there always a controversy every couple of years in Dallas when it comes to
because when someone
why can't you stick to one quarterback?
Because they keep finding themselves a diamond in the rough, and looks like Cooper Rush is a diamond in the rough. This man threw for 223 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I see.
He's 4-0. 4-0 as a starter now.
What do you think of CD Lamb?
I think he's a developing player, but he's good.
Puts that 97 yards up to a touchdown.
Good.
Can you start to admit this now? I think I said this last year, but I really haven't been mentioning too much about it. Ezekiel Elliott.
Feed me
I
more.
think feed him nothing. He only put up 49 yards rushing. I'm sorry.
You think he peaked?
Yes, I do think he peaked.
I think he peaked too.
And he's kind of been over that 1 or 2 years, and then he's done. Sorry, I mean.
He got that injury, and then now
I don't think he has it.
He's not the same after the injury.
He's just not the same. You're right. He isn't. And I don't think he's going to. I hate to say it, but I don't really think he's going to be much.
No, Zeke,
too much.
I mean, he'll have a couple of games where he's going to get his 100. But remember, he used to get 100.
Yes, I know.
Every single
now watch
game.
what's going to happen. Watch what will happen. because I believe these kind of numbers are going to continue throughout the year. He still might eke out
You
like
get
100
yards a
game
couple
here,
of games.
but I think he's going to average less than 100 yards a game.
Yeah.
And I think, Jerry Jones is very quick-handed, and he makes quick decisions. He's going to cut him.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
Don't be
depending on his
surprised.
contract, I don't know what his contract
Doesn't
is.
matter what his contract is. During the NFL, he can cut you. And I believe he's going to be cut by at the end of the offseason if he doesn't get hurt.
Wow. Tough.
He just looks like trash. Let's just be honest. He does not look. He looks like a shell of himself from a couple of years ago. I mean, 1 year you can take it as an excuse because you were injured and you couldn't do anything. Then the second year you're back for a whole year, and then you're healthy, but you're still trying to, get healthy. You are healthy. That third year, come on, what's going on now? 49 yards.
Yeah.
38 yards here, 67 yards here. Man, you were averaging, you put up over 120, 130 yards a game.
Every game.
So what the hell is happening?
And a couple of touchdowns. He was a beast. But
Now,
we also go look at the Commanders. Carson Wentz only threw for 170 yards, 1 touchdown against 2 interceptions. I mean, some days he looks good, but most of the time he just looks like a weak quarterback now. I don't know. I don't know if he's the answer for the Commanders. He might get him a couple more wins, but these numbers aren't going to cut it. They're wasting Gibson out there. I think Gibson is a great rusher, but
he only rushed for 49 yards.
Yeah, but normally he puts
Gibson, because Williams rushed for more and with less carries.
So Gibson's usually their workhorse. But
we play them in a couple of weeks.
I expect to win. We
expect them to win.
Yes, I expect to win. Yes, I expect them to beat the Washington Commanders. Now when we're playing. Exactly. Now, when we're playing heavy hitters like Baltimore or something like that, then yeah, of course I'm going to be like, okay, the Bears are going to lose that game. But when we're playing the Washington Commanders and we're talking about we're going to lose, I think we're hungrier than the Commanders and we're going to beat them. Let's move on.
Okay. All right. So, I think we both had this game. Why did you have the Washington winning this game? Was this an upset?
No, I did not have this as an upset.
We talked about the Lions and the Seahawks.
Yep.
The Titans and the Colts.
Okay.
The Titans beat the Colts.
That went exactly the way I thought it was.
Yeah, well, me too. The Colts are not a good team. That's what I want to tell you.
Matt Ryan is done. I'm going to keep saying week after week after week.
I don't think I get an argument with me with that.
He's
I've been saying that a while ago.
Let me see. He did throw for 356 yards. Oh, that was actually
He's not that done yet. He threw 2 touchdowns, 356, 1 interception. I don't know if it's much about him as the talent around him.
Normally, it's lately this year it's been about him, but
today
he doesn't have
a
good game.
He doesn't have a lot of talent around him, or maybe he's playing from behind, and that's why his numbers are inflated like that.
Nyheim Hines used to be like a couple of years ago. This guy was a killer on that team. Like every game you saw him, he was putting up basically Zeke numbers. He has fallen off a lot. Hines has fallen off a lot. I have him on my fantasy team, and I think I'm going to be dropping him because he's been putting up duds week after week, so he's going to have to go.
Derrick Henry doesn't have to go because he put up another 114 yards and a touchdown today.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Tannehill didn't have a mediocre. Well, he had 2 touchdowns, but the yardage 137. But
yeah, those were just.
But then when you have Derrick Henry rushing for over 114 yards. I mean, and a touchdown, so he doesn't have to put up 200 to 300 yards a game.
And he even received for 33.
I mean, you see him, he's not falling off, but you have Ezekiel Elliott falling off. So, this wasn't a surprise to me. The Colts are more of a rebuilding team, too.
We both had that.
And Matt Ryan, even though it doesn't look like he's struggling like that, he put up 300 and whatever yards, it just seems like to me, I don't think he's going to be around long. I think he's going to retire after the season.
Yeah, I give him 1 more year maximum.
He's been in the league a long time.
Yeah, he has. He was with
15 years, 14, 15 years.
Falcons for like 14 years, man.
Yeah, he replaced Michael Vick after the dog incident.
Yep.
So the the Titans, they go to 2-2. Indy falls to 1-2-1. Moving on.
Yep.
Jaguars, Eagles. Now, this game I was watching highlights of. And the Jaguars pretty much had the Eagles pretty much the whole game. And I keep saying, you keep sweating, Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
I know his numbers weren't so spectacular, but
not today.
he put up 204 yards and an interception. But Sanders rushed for 134 yards and 2 touchdown passes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what won him the game.
Mm-hmm.
A.J. Brown had 95 yards, only 5 receptions. But Trevor Lawrence, he threw for 174 yards and 2 touchdown passes. Not bad. I mean,
No, it's not bad.
Get 2 touchdown passes.
I'll take it.
That would be nice.
Well, against 1 interception for a young player. I mean, those are pretty good numbers to me.
And surprising, even so, the Eagles, they stay undefeated at 4-4. So I won this game. Of course, I picked the Eagles to win. I didn't expect them to struggle. You know, this week could have been an easy, disastrous week for me. Very easily with some of these possible upsets that almost happened. The Jacksonville Jaguars are at 2-2, but they're probably going to be bottom feeders when it's all said and done. Trevor Lawrence is a good talent, but we'll see what he can do down the road. This game was basically the Eagles took care of business, and they're 4-0, undefeated, on top of the NFC East Division, and one of the best teams in the NFC.
Yes, they are.
You know, so I see them. I told you they're gonna win that division. Told you that.
Yep.
All right. Next, we talked about the Jets and the Steelers. Now we have the Buffalo Bills and the Ravens. Did you watch this game?
Yes.
Okay, so
This was.
Baltimore should have won this
They
game.
were winning 20-3, dude.
Baltimore should have won this game.
They were winning 20-3.
What the hell happened?
What happened?
Because
was,
Josh Allen is a good quarterback, but their defense picked it up.
Yes, they did.
Because Jackson sometimes is it me or he seems like he just hasn't seemed to learn his lesson. It's like when he's rushing the ball, sometimes he makes stupid decisions. Like when he threw that pass in the end zone, towards the end of the game.
That's what sealed the deal right there.
Yeah, why are you doing that? Just run it in.
Because normally that would be a catch, and that's one of the plays that it didn't work. So he lost on that last second.
He throws wild passes and it's
play.
inaccurate a lot of times when it comes to that.
I don't know. You're talking about the MVP right now. That should be the MVP.
He didn't put up no MVP numbers today. 144 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions are not MVP numbers. Sorry.
I mean, Josh
Those
Allen
are not.
201 touchdowns.
Yeah, but his is balanced. He threw over 200 yards. Touchdown, interception, not 144 yards, a touchdown and 2 interceptions.
What about his rushing yards? Jackson rushed for 73.
Yeah, so Jackson rushed for 3 yards more. Josh Allen put up more yards receiving and was more accurate.
Yeah.
I'd say more accurate, but he got the job done. Jackson choked down the stretch and panicked. He seems like he panics a lot.
He threw that interception in the end zone.
That was unnecessary. You got to blame him for that. I blame him for that interception.
Yeah.
You can't blame the receiver for that. So Baltimore goes to 2-2. Buffalo improves to 3-1. I told you, watch out for Buffalo. Watch out for Buffalo.
Oh, this is a revenge year. I mean, I can definitely tell the way Josh Allen is coming out. I do believe in Buffalo. I do believe in them, but I just thought that Baltimore was going to outplay them today.
No,
so.
I'm not surprised. And it's the Bills' year. It's the Bills' year. Moving on, we have the Chargers and the Texans. The Texans lost another one. So they're 0-2-1 or 0-3-1.
Yep.
Lovey, I feel so bad for you. I mean, you don't.
But look what they gave him to work with.
I know.
Look what they gave. Look at his quarterback.
So they lost 24-34
you
today.
Got Mills. I mean, you got names that you've never even heard of. He's trying to make something out of this team, but he just don't have.
Kind of reminds me of the first year he played with the Bears. He coached the Bears. They weren't that good that year.
Mills threw for 248 yards or 46 yards, had 2 touchdowns and also 2 interceptions. This Pierce guy that they have, though, every week is putting up over 100 yards rushing. He's someone that you should be watching out for.
Yeah, but they can't stop Justin Herbert, who had 340 yards and 2 touchdowns.
There's not very many people that are still stopping Justin Herbert.
So, I mean, until you can do that, they're going to be tough.
Yeah.
Now, I do believe the Chargers are a decent team. They're
very good.
They're good, but to me, they're not going anywhere in the playoffs, especially if they run into a Chiefs or a Buffalo Bills team.
Enough said.
They're not going anywhere, and they got to hope. Those are probably going to be the 1 and 2 team in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, in the AFC conference.
Yeah.
So the Texans go to 0-3-1 but the Chargers improved to 500. Now with the talent they got, why are they 500?
He had a couple of bad breaks. You remember Herbert got hurt. He had his the rib injury in that game. So they have a couple of they had a couple of bad breaks, but I think that they've got their rhythm now. The first game, like I said, is always a feel out game. We can barely even predict who's gonna win the first week because first game of the year it's a toss up. But yeah, definitely the Chargers are a better team than the Texans, and I expect them to make the playoffs no matter what this year.
The Chargers are going to make the playoffs, of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely got that.
I expect that.
They're not going to win the division because I think that's going to KC. But they're going to make the playoffs as a wild card. They're going to get one of the wild card spots. Moving on, we got the Arizona Cardinals at the Carolina Panthers, and Cardinals took care of business today, 26-16. You had Kyle Murray throw for 207 yards, as well as 2 touchdown passes and an interception. He was pretty accurate. He was 23 of 32, so he's pretty accurate today. He went to the study and read film today last week. So he
he ran a lot today. I saw some of that game.
Yeah, but he was pretty accurate with his passing because he threw for 207 yards, 23 passes. He got 2 scores out of it. So that was actually not bad either. Otherwise, the only numbers that pop out of this with Arizona was Brown, who got 88 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Their highest receiver, running back, was Connor, 55 yards, 15
James Conner's pretty good though.
And
those numbers didn't speak for what he's able to do.
His longest run was 8 yards. He carried it 15
He's
times.
He's normally a lot better than that. But let's talk about Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
So Baker Mayfield threw for 197 yards, 1 touchdown against 2 interceptions. So I have Red Zone, and I watched this. And he was getting booed, man. He was getting booed.
Well, what do you think of his performance
hard.
this game, and what do you think of his performance so far this season?
Bad. If it is scale of 1 to 10, I give him a 5.
So he threw it for 197 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 22 of 36. Rating of 61.9. Where are these spectacular numbers he was putting up in Cleveland?
I don't know what's happening in Carolina, but it's a shame.
Change the venue, I guess.
It's a shame because I actually had this as being a surprise game and having the Carolina Panthers beat the Cardinals today. I thought that's what was going to happen, but
I knew the Cardinals. I think I had the Cardinals winning this game, but they should have won this game. So anyway, the Cardinals go to 2-2, while Carolina falls at 1-3. Now seeing you can start to see some of these teams that are becoming bottom feeders, as you can see throughout the year, or a quarter of the season in, and the way some of these trends are going for teams like Carolina, they're on the verge of having the top pick next season.
Yes, they are.
Let's just put it that way. Moving on, we have the Patriots and the Packers. This game was interesting because this was a pretty good game. It was a pretty close game.
Yeah.
Packers eked out a win with a field goal last second because I loved it when Aaron Rodgers threw that pick 6. They said it was the first one in 3,500 passing attempts that he threw.
That just speaks volumes of this man's greatness.
It also speaks volumes that he still doesn't trust his receivers either.
I don't know, man. He threw for 251 yards. And 2 passing touchdowns. I don't know. I think I see a little trust happening.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that because you got him some of those yards today.
Your boy Randall Cobb.
Keeps on.
I just knew you'd be bringing him back
because he makes key plays. And how come teams are not onto this? He makes key plays. You don't see him throughout the whole game. Like today, he only got 3 receptions. 42 yards.
Yep.
Those 42 yards were important yards.
Yeah, they were.
Because every time New England scored and took the lead or tied it, Green Bay would come back, and of course, you somewhere somehow, Aaron Rodgers not having a good game, he throws it to Randall Cobb. You keep saying he's slow. He's not slow. He's still able to catch those yards.
Because no one's paying attention to him.
And you think they'd be paying attention to him now?
That's why. You always see him open, he's running, he stops, he runs his route, catches it, and then he gets tackled. No one's paying attention.
Now, the big story in New England is Hoyer, who got hurt. He was only 5 of 6 at 37 yards receiving.
Was he concussed?
He was concussed. I think he was hurt. He couldn't come back in. And Zappy, how you say his name?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he threw for 99 yards and 10 to 15. Their running backs, Harris and Stevenson,
Yeah.
rushed for 86 and 66, and that's basically their offense at that point. New England is 1-2. I'm not surprised by this because no one knows how long Mac and Cheese will be out. But he's going to probably be out maybe at least another week or so, probably.
He probably will be.
And so New England's in serious doo-doo.
Yeah, you are.
Well, they're not used to being in this position. Well, guess what? Tom Brady ain't walking through that door, Pats fans. And now you have to deal with the rebuilding that you needed to be doing 15 years ago. Now you're finally doing it. Don't worry, Green Bay will be following right behind your footsteps too. When Aaron Rodgers is gone.
Sounds like you've been waiting
Same
a while
thing
to
is
say
gonna
that.
happen.
But that's
No.
okay.
I'm just telling you. I'm just speaking facts. It's gonna happen.
The great Bill Belichick will find a way to make the playoffs.
Maybe
Did
eventually,
the Patriots
yes.
not make the playoffs last year? I can swear they made the playoffs.
They got
last
bounced in
year.
the first round.
Yeah, but they made the playoffs though with mac and cheese.
Anyway, next game, Raiders and Broncos. And I told you the Raiders are going to win their first game. They're not a team that talented is not going to go 0-4. Sorry. So
Wow, we're celebrating because the Raiders finally got a win on week 4.
well, I mean,
Wow, this team is stacked. They stacked. this
Adams
team up.
another 100-yard game.
Of course, finally it
What do you
paid off.
finally?
It paid off for you to have those big numbers because before you just had big numbers and your team lost.
What got him was Jacobs' 144 rushing
Yeah,
yards
he
and
did.
2 touchdown
Yes, he
passes.
did.
If you had him on your fantasy, you had a good
I
fantasy
did.
game.
He got me 32
Oh,
points.
I'm
today.
sure he did.
He snapped.
Hopefully, he helped you win.
Yeah, he did.
All right. And so did Devontae Adams. And so did Derek Carr. Threw for 188 yards.
That was nothing today.
21 of 34.
I sat him down.
He
He's
threw
actually
2
one of my
touchdowns.
backups. I sat him down.
As for the Broncos, Russell Wilson, he didn't have a bad game, Mike.
No,
he was
he had
17 to
good
25,
numbers.
237, 2 touchdown passes, no
He had
interceptions.
good numbers.
He was sacked 3 times. But, I mean, the man needs help. But especially at this stage of his career, he needs help.
He passed for 2 touchdowns and rushed 1 in himself. I mean, what else do you want this man to do? Like you said, he needs some help around him. But look at his receiving core. You know, Hamler caught for 55. Judy caught for 53. Sutton caught for 52. I mean, he's getting the ball around. You had about 5 or 6 receivers that caught for over 30 yards. So, you know, they're doing something. But there's this guy, Boone, on the team.
Yes. He rushed 3 rushes for 20 yards. But he averaged 6.7 a game.
Yeah.
Well, Vegas is winning. They finally won, so let's see what happens with them. I'm still on the lookout at them. I still think it's still early. It's only a quarter in. They still can try to contend in that division, at least for a wild card, because KC's has a division on lock. So, moving on. The final game was the Sunday night game, which is the Chiefs and the Buccaneers, and I caught most of that game. And Pat Mahomes, man, it comes to a point now when you have to sit there and like you used to tell me all the time. Well, I gotta sit there and say that the league caught up to him, or you say he's just that talented. He's just that good.
Now I say he's just that talented.
You couldn't see that a couple of years ago?
No.
He brought his team to the Super Bowl. 2 Super Bowls, mind you. That's not no fluke. That's not no flash in the pan.
What you weren't listening to me when I was telling you about league catching up to him was when Tyreek Hill was hurt and out for those 4 or 5 weeks. He was injured. The Chiefs were losing.
Okay, well, guess what?
Because he didn't have this guy to pass it to.
This is the team they lost to in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, right? You see what happens when he has a fully healthy offensive line?
It's not the same teams.
And then you saw Tom Brady, by the way. Tom Brady
threw for 385 yards.
But I think he got hurt. You saw him hurt his arm or his elbow or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he got sacked, well, they rocked him. Like, that's what happened. You got a 45-year-old man out there sitting there trying to play a young man's sport. They rocked the shit out of him.
I don't know, 385 yards and 3 touchdowns.
In a losing effort. When is the last time you ever hear Tom Brady throw for over 300 yards and he loses?
Boy,
That
I would
doesn't
take
happen.
Tom Brady here.
That rarely happens.
I would take him here.
Rarely happens.
I would take that 45-year-old man here.
Tom Brady had a great game. He threw for 385 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 39-52. He played better than.
I don't even think Justin Fields.
He had better numbers than Patrick Mahomes.
I don't think Justin Fields is thrown for this many yards in the one game Tom Brady is thrown for.
The score is a little bit different than what you think. Okay, it was 41-31, but this game was pretty much over.
It was.
This was pretty much a blowout,
yeah.
and that's why Tom Brady had his 300 and whatever yards. So
they didn't just let him have it.
So
though,
Tampa Bay falls to 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
KC improves to 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
And revenge. You know this was a revenge game. Same spot in Miami. Made sure to show those Tampa Bay fans.
No ring involved.
Now, the only game that we didn't get to because it didn't happen yet, and that's the Rams and the Niners. And I believe
I got the Rams beating them.
I believe I picked the Niners to win that, but we'll talk about that game on the next show when we get into it. But Jimmy G is at home. He'll be comfortable, and I got them beating the Rams tomorrow.
Well, good luck with that.
You gotta have some faith in Jimmy G there, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, Jimmy G's the man. You know, when times are tough and they can't score, he's a good game manager. He doesn't turn the ball over. He lets that defense do their job week after week after week. That's why they're always one of the top best defenses in the league. And I think they're going to pull up an upset against the Rams. The Rams aren't as tough as you think they are, Mike. They're 2-1.
Okay.
And I believe they're going to be 2-2 tomorrow, and the 49ers will be 2-2.
Okay.
So that's what I think. This is my opinion. What do you think? Any thoughts on that?
For me, I think the Rams are going to beat them. Jimmy G's going to try and do his thing. He's going to get his one touchdown.
I'm sorry. I forgot to mention.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams, of course, are always in the game because they have the best receiver in the league, Cooper Kupp.
Exactly. That's the difference maker.
But Cooper Kupp is playing against the San Francisco 49ers defense that
that
usually handles him pretty well.
It's going to be a Devo and Cooper Kupp show. But real quick, before everything ends here. So this week, like you were saying, lots and lots of disappointments. So I'm going to go through my picks real quick. I had the Bengals beating the Dolphins. I got that right. I had the Vikings beating the Saints. I got that right. I had the Browns beating the Falcons. Got that wrong. I'm sure everyone else was shocked by this too. I had the Seahawks beating the Lions. My bad. I had the Lions beating the Seahawks, and the Lions managed to throw
you know what? I had that too. That's why I thought I picked the Seahawks.
Managed to throw that away.
Okay.
I had the Titans beating the Colts. That came true.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Steelers beating the Jets.
I guess I'm not going to pick the Steelers anymore.
We all know what happened with that.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Ravens beating the Bills. I know we disagreed on that.
Yep.
I know you got that. I had the Chargers beating the Texans.
Is that a last second change? Because didn't you have the Texans winning? Don't bullshit.
No. Against the Chargers? No way. I had the Cowboys beating the
Commanders.
Commanders.
The Cowboys, yeah.
I had the Jags beating the
Philadelphia. You almost came true, but I had Philly winning that one.
I told you that was going to be my surprise game of the week.
It almost came true.
But don't sleep on Trevor.
And the Bears disappointed you.
I went with my heart. I went with the Bears. Okay. They fell to the Giants, but we're still 2-2, and I still got heart.
Okay. And of course, you had the Packers winning the
I had the Panthers beating the Cardinals.
Okay, I had that. I had the Cardinals winning that.
Of course, I got the Packers beating the Patriots.
And I had the Raiders. You don't want to pick. You got to start picking the Raiders, Mike, because you're doing that because out of spite because Adams didn't want to play.
They're 1-3. Have I been wrong? I'm only wrong 25% of the time.
And of course, you picked Tom Brady to beat Patrick Mahomes, which I told you that was not going to happen.
Well, I mean, it happened in the big game, so I'm not going to go against the
overall, I went 11-4 so far. But tomorrow, who do you have?
I have the Rams beating the 49ers, as I just stated.
I have, where's that game at?
I think you have you just said it. You just said you had the 49ers.
Yeah, but it's not showing up on my thing here.
It'll probably be at the very bottom. But if you just download the app, it'll be a lot easier. That's what I did. I downloaded the app. It's a lot easier than having to sign in every single time on the website.
This is the app. I don't really have the app on here,
but yeah. So next week, there's gonna be a good slate of games. I like to do another show sometime in the week.
Prediction show?
A prediction show and a little bit about the NBA. Because we haven't talked
Wednesday.
all about the NBA. So we're going to do that before anything happens. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody again for tuning in, watching, any questions, anything like that. I want to thank you very much. Appreciate it. You can still catch us, as I said, every week on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, on Apple Podcasts, and of course YouTube when you want to see us. So either way, thank you again for watching. This is Frank, Mike, and see you guys again in a couple of days.
Deuces. Peace.